Hi and welcome back to Living Local. I'm Lindsay Kovach and today I'm sharing more about why Greenville, South Carolina has one of the best running communities in the country. I'm an active endurance runner and I've called the upstate home since 2010. I enjoy training for marathons and I typically try to race 1 to 2 per year if I can. In today's video, we're going to cover what makes Greenville such an amazing running community, neighborhoods and locations for runners and cyclists, and some of the best local races and community running and cycling groups. So a little bit about my running experience. I've been running marathons since 2009 when I ran my first at Kiowa. So ever since that first race, I've been trying to break 4 hours in the marathon and then qualify for Boston, which I'm actually excited to run next week. I've taken some breaks having children and recovering, but have been consistently marathon training for the better part of the past 15 years. Greenville is a great area to train, but I typically prefer to travel to cooler climates to race if at all possible. There aren't many marathons in Greenville or that close by, and the annual October marathon, the Sphinx Marathon, tends to be pretty humid. To date, my favorite marathon to run is the Richmond Marathon in the fall. Richmond is special to me because it was my very first marathon to meet the Boston qualifying time. I also think the Richmond course reminds me a lot of Greenville. It winds through lush neighborhoods, a route that runs through town, over bridges, and along the river, and it ends in an open grassy space downtown for all the racers to celebrate. So why do so many endurance athletes like myself, runners and cyclists, love to call Greenville their home? Let's dive into what makes Greenville such an attractive location for endurance athletes to live. If you're an endurance athlete or like to exercise and spend time outdoors, Greenville could be a great place to call home. You can take my quiz in the description below to see which community might be a good fit for you. I'd love to be a resource to you about all things in the upstate as you research and relocate to the area. I also offer hotel discounts for any clients who plan to visit Greenville and begin their home search. So let's get started. Weather is a huge reason endurance athletes choose Greenville to train. Endurance athletes prefer to spend much of their time training outside if possible. Greenville's mild climate allows for outdoor running year-round. Our average temperature falls between 50 and 70 degrees, making it an ideal climate for running. We do have humid summers, but not as humid as coastal areas like Charleston and Hilton Head. In the winter months, we typically don't see temperatures dip below the 30s, and we usually get snow on average once a winter, so runners and cyclists typically aren't having to adjust training around snow or slippery surfaces. Spring and fall are perfect temperatures, especially in the early morning with less humidity and cooler temperatures. Summer running can be hot and humid, but most runners opt for early morning runs or gravitate towards shady trail routes like Paris Mountain or sections of the Swamp Rabbit Trail that are more shaded. Besides the mild climates, runners and cyclists are attracted to Greenville's famous Swamp Rabbit Trail. So over 28 miles of paved and incredibly flat trail, the Swamp Rabbit Trail allows runners the opportunity to mindlessly set out for your run and get a long run in without having to stop at traffic lights, wind through busy neighborhoods, or worry about safety. Especially when you're planning a 20-mile long run, it can be cumbersome to figure out your route ahead of time and do it in a location that's safe. It's well lit in the mornings, it doesn't have heavy traffic, and has bathroom and water stops along the way. The Swamp Rabbit Trail connects from North Greenville and Travelers Rest, winds through Furman University's campus, then extends into downtown. The trail runs through the city center from Falls Park to Cleveland Park and continues along Lawrence Road and into Hollingsworth Park. Avid road cyclists often use the trail as a connector to get across town easily and add on hillier routes in North Greenville, Simpsonville, and Powdersville. Endurance cyclists don't typically use the trail for long rides, but it's a great and safe way to connect across town. Cyclists are also specifically attracted to Greenville because of the city size. Greenville has a great downtown area in the city center, but it isn't so large that it's too far from the surrounding communities and suburbs. This allows for cyclists to get connected to miles of less traveled roadways just outside of the city, as compared to more metropolitan cities like Charlotte or Atlanta, where you have to travel farther outside of the city to ride rolling hills in the suburbs. Another reason Greenville has a thriving running and cycling community is because it has a strong social and community scene. There are tons of community groups and weekly meetups for runs with people from all sorts of communities and varied distances and paces. If you've ever been a part of a running or cycling group, you can appreciate how it connects people socially from different demographics and walks of life that wouldn't necessarily have crossed paths otherwise. Social running groups are a great way for new members of the community to meet others and get socially connected. A few of Greenville's running and cycling groups include the Upstate Running Club, Greenville Track Club, and Upstate Spinners. Many of the running and cycling shops in town also host weekly meetups for runs and rides, such as Run-In, Fleet Feet, Velo Valet, and the Cycle House. All of these shops have details posted on their websites and social accounts if you want to learn more about their community. A few other attractions of the area include the availability of trail running in some of the SC state parks that are close by. Paris Mountain State Park and Conisty Park are both within a 15 to 20 minute drive of downtown Greenville and have multiple trails and regular meetups for weekly runs and rides. Avid road cyclists will also recognize the name George Hincapie, whose hotel and restaurant, Hotel Domestique, is located in North Greenville. The hotel was inspired by his world travels and hosts the annual Hincapie Gran Fondo cycling road race every October. Hotel Domestique is described as a contrast in active lifestyle and countryside refuge. Part modern boutique hotel and part culinary sanctuary, it draws people across the world who are searching for serenity in South Carolina's Blue Ridge Mountains. The hotel includes Restaurant 17, which is a fine dining restaurant, a luxurious pool, and countryside vineyards. Many travelers make it their destination for a cycling vacation in Greenville. So if you're now considering where you want to live in Greenville that gives you access to the best cycling and running routes, there are no shortages of great neighborhoods to live with quick access to get you outside and enjoy your hobby. I've worked with a number of clients who are relocating to the Greenville area and need a running or cycling route just outside their doorstep. This becomes a key priority in their home's location, especially if running or cycling is a daily hobby. There are several neighborhoods that have access to run or ride to the Swamp Rabbit Trail, but I also work with clients who are okay with a short drive to one of the many trail access points. For a more in-depth review of neighborhoods located off the Swamp Rabbit Trail, check out my video highlighting these top neighborhoods with trail access. One of the other neighborhoods not mentioned in the Swamp Rabbit Trail video that I would consider attractive for runners and cyclists would be Overbrook, which is a historic neighborhood just outside of downtown, and it's a short bike ride to the trail. Overbrook is known for its historic charm and also boasts a cute downtown area with some of the area's most popular shops and restaurants. My favorite stops in Overbrook are Scout's Donuts for their amazing breakfast donut sandwich, or Vintage Coffee for a patio work meeting and a matcha. I'm currently working with an avid triathloner who's relocating to the area. We're working to find the perfect home for their family and 2 dogs in the Overbrook neighborhood. Another neighborhood I recommend to clients who want better access to the trails of Paris Mountain State Park is the Piney Mountain area and Montebello neighborhood. You can find out more about Montebello in our luxury neighborhood video linked here. Now you can see why Greenville is such an attractive destination for those looking to log miles outside year-round. If you're considering a move to Greenville and running or cycling is a main priority in your housing search, I can't wait to help you find your new home and get connected with the amazing endurance community here. Thanks for joining us today, and feel free to call or text if you have any questions about any of the information we reviewed today. We look forward to seeing you next time with more tips on how to live local and live better in the upstate. See you in the next video.